Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. As promised, this is going to probably be one of the most important videos on this channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to build real wealth, how to build real success with minimum wage working and living in European Union or America. So the topic for today is basically becoming a millionaire or building your family's wealth, building your private wealth with minimum funds but a lot of commitment. So without further ado, let's jump in and let's discover. But you got to make sure that you watch this video all the way to the end, because I'll be talking about some very important things and I'll be giving some important information on in case if you want to choose to actually do this yourself. You will need to see this video to the very end to find out the information of how to actually do it yourself. There I'll be talking about tools and means to do it and what things you're going to have to put in place in order to achieve this. So let's talk about the topic of quick wealth, topic of becoming overnight millionaire, very rich, in a very short period of time. To be honest, I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe that. I don't think that is real. Sometimes maybe it can be real. There are a lot of websites, a lot of YouTubers that tell you that they're gonna make you rich overnight, and there is this program or that program that pays I don't know, like 1% a day or 10% a week. It's gonna make you a millionaire. To be honest, I don't believe that is true. I've not seen it with my own eyes. I have heard some stories. Whether they are true or not, I don't know. But to be honest, I personally don't believe in it. I don't. However, guys, I have found one way that is proven to build wealth over time, and it's a way that you can really become a millionaire or even multi-millionaire with the right approach, with the right amount of money, with the right percentage return. But that is so much more realistic, and I would say that I see it as the quickest and the most pain-free way to success and riches. I have tried and tested it on my own, on myself, and I can tell you that I had some incredible results. Although I have to say that I didn't remain with that thing for long enough to actually see the end result, which could have been so much better. So what we're really going to be talking about today, guys, is something called compound interest. I'm sure you have heard about it. I'm sure that you've probably seen it somewhere, but you are just not using it. And I would say that everyone, absolutely everyone, should be using it. Absolutely everyone should know about it. So I want to bring it to your attention yet again, if you've heard about it before, and let's dive into it and actually see the real numbers, how they could work. Don't worry, this is not some sort of a Ponzi scheme or some kind of pyramid scheme. Don't worry, it's none of that. This is your absolute own discretion on what you want to do, how you want to do it, and where you want to do it. This is just simply a representation of the numbers, how could numbers work for you, and providing that you find yourself a suitable investment that actually will bring you a certain amount of percentage per month in order to compound those gains at the end. So let's just look at some quotes that I have found earlier, and this is really interesting. So one of the most famous people who have spoken about the compound interest is actually Albert Einstein, and what he said about it is compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Einstein isn't the only smart person that understands the power of compound interest. So let's see who else is saying and what. So this person here: the compound effect is the principle of reaping huge rewards from a series of small smart choices. And this is written by Darren Hardy. Now the other one says, when it comes to compounding, don't trust your intuition. You have no idea how powerful it is. And this is by Manoy Aurora. A modest rate of return can accumulate a fortune over time. Don't need to beat the market, do over leveraging, or pick the best stocks to be rich. You just need to earn decent rate of return and let your money compound over time. Naveed Abdali. So all these quotes are absolutely true, 100%, no doubt. Compound interest is really an eighth miracle of the world, and I have tried it myself, like I said, and I was astounded how great, how amazing it works. So before we jump into the actual compound interest calculator, and before I show you how it works, I would like to remind you to like and subscribe, and make sure that when you subscribe, you click the bell notification button and you click all next to it, so you don't miss out on the content like this and the very important content that is going to be released in the near future. So the YouTube has changed the way algorithm works. So just by clicking subscribe doesn't actually bring you notifications of my new releases. So you manually literally need to click subscribe, click the notification bell, and click all in order to be notified about my new releases. Okay, so since we have got through this part, now let's jump into the compound calculator and let's see how it works in real life. So we are in a compound interest calculator. So first of all, when you come to it, you need to set it to some sort of currency that you're going to be saving your money in. So because I live in the UK, in Britain, I will be using pounds today, but when you are using compound interest calculator, adjust it to your own needs and to your own currency. That's absolutely fine. So okay, we'll do British pounds now, and we will start with the starting balance. You have to start with some sort of initial balance, right? You can start it with 0, but that will really affect how much you will actually have at the end of the at the whole, at the end process, basically. So I would recommend to start in between 300 to 500 pounds. If you start with the larger sum of money, first of all, you will have more of an emotional attachment to it, and you will have more of a financial investment into it from the get-go. So you will feel that there is, that there is some money in there, and that basically there is some sort of there is something happening, So the more, if you started with a very small balance and then adding small amounts each day or each week, might take you much longer time to build a significant balance. So let's start, let's say for demonstration purposes, with 500. In fact, when I started my compounding, I started with 500 as well. Now we come to the interest rate. So this is really important point. So for compound interest to work, you need to find an investment that's going to bring you consistently in between 6 to 10% per month returns. It's not very easy to find something like that on the stock market. However, it is possible. It is possible. There are assets, even if you just Googled assets that consistently bring you either dividends or they grow by that percentage per month or per year, then you will be a very, very happy person. So really, for compound interest to work in the intended time period that I'm planning to talk about, is you need to earn around 100% a year. So you need something that doubles in value every year. And I have something to show you that does that. I've got an asset on it that actually does that, and I will show you the numbers. So basically, interest rate is, we will put 8% monthly. Okay, so we need something that appreciates in a value 8% a month, or it pays such a high dividend, 8% a month. I'm not sure if there are dividends like that, but that's for you to maybe research and find yourself. But I have something that I can show you that will do this. Anyway, so this will be for a period of 6 years. and compound interval is going to be monthly. So what that means is basically, let me show you on the calculator. Okay, so monthly. So for example, first month you will have your 500 pounds invested. So your percentage is 8%. So let's divide this by 100 equals and times 8. So your earnings that month would be 40 pounds. So at which point does this 40 pound add to your 500? This is really what the interval is actually asking, at which point you are adding your compounded gains to your total investment. So we're gonna say it's monthly. You can do it daily, but I don't think that would be a fair representation. That depends on your investment, but the one we're gonna be talking about, we're gonna say we're gonna do it monthly. Okay. So then regular deposits, you need to have regular deposits, and regular deposits, based on my calculations and based on my average, earnings in EU, I believe that most people can afford around £200 a month investment. That is an investment for their own future. That works out around £6.50 per day. That's really nothing. £6.50 a day. You spend it on a cup of coffee before you go to work. On return from work, picking your child up from school or kindergarten, you keep nipping to the shop and you buy a little toy, you buy some sweeties, it's nothing. £6.50 a day. Everyone living in Europe, in England, in America can really, really afford that. But you'll be amazed what sort of money and what sort of compounded gains it can actually bring you at the end of the day, at the end of this period. Small additions, small little investments will actually consistently will bring you huge returns at the end. You will be surprised when we get to it. So let's say £200 monthly, because if we go on a calculator, £200 divided by roughly 30.5 days, because that's how many days on average are in a month. 200 divided by 30.5 is £6.50. That's what it is. But let's say you're going to be making investments only on weekdays. So there's about 20 weekdays in the month. So that would be 200 divided by 20 is £10. So if you are investing only on the weekdays, it will be £10 a day that you need to dedicate to your future. So £10 a day, most people can afford it. It's not the hugest amounts of money, or you simply just add £200 at the end of the month, or you can, do £50 a week if you wanted to. Same thing. So deposits made, let's say end of the month, doesn't make huge difference. You can do it at the beginning of the month. You can work with this calculator and tweak it how you want it. Okay, so this option here asks annual inflation rate. So there is inflation, as you know, guys, and this is really important. So whether you will increase your daily or monthly deposits with the inflation going ahead. So I would say yes, because as the inflation goes further and products and everything and services become more expensive as we go ahead, also the minimum wage will increase. So over the period of 6 years, we will certainly see some inflation. So we will say the annual inflation rate, and we will increase our investment together with an inflation rate. So I did a little research and I had a look how much what is the inflation rate in UK in 2022. The consumer price index rose by 5.5% in the 12 months to January 2022. So let's say 5.5%. Okay, so we're going to use 5.5% inflation rate per year. Okay, so now we've got our calculator set. So it's set for 8% a month, 6 years. Deposit amount is monthly £200. End of the month inflation rate calculate. Let's see what numbers we get. So look at this. This is absolutely mind-blowing. So after the period of 6 years, just by making small additions, by starting with $500 and adding $6.50 per day, you can have $785,000 at end of 6 years. Can you believe this figure? This is almost $1 million. If you add one more year to this, so instead of 6 years, we do 7 years, I'm sure you're gonna be a millionaire. Yes, you're gonna almost have £2 million. Look at this. This is absolutely mind-blowing numbers. So initial balance, you start with 500. You added deposit in total £19,000. Effective annual interest rate is 151%. That's based on 8% per month. Okay. So let's see how we actually got there. So the compound interest is one of these things that actually start working, kicking in really only after the 3rd or 4th year. So at the end of the year 1, our end balance would be £5,000. Okay, year 2, it would actually be already 16,000. You're not changing the amount of money you are adding. It's simply that the compound effect starts working, and those percentages overlay percentages. So basically your compounded gains, they are added to your balance, and then the 8% goes on top of the new increased balance, and year by year it builds itself up and becomes an incredible number. So you can see here the year 3, you would have about £46,000, right? But the magic starts happening on the year 4. As you can see here, it almost triples and it becomes 121,000 on the year 4. Year 5, it's 309,000, and year 6, it's 785,000. But year 7 is just mind-blowing. It's out of this world. You got £2 million, and this is simply by just starting with £500 account, adding £6.50 a day for 7 days a week, and you do it for 7 years. You'll have almost £2 million. The key in this is you need to find an investment that actually brings you these 8% per month. So it might not be easy and it might not work every year, but if you do it long enough, it will balance itself out and you'll be very close to those numbers. There is no voodoo magic, there is no lies. This is just amazing. In my opinion, this is the best way for everyday person, for person who works from 9 till 5 to actually become financially free and to actually build very big, large wealth and leave a legacy for themselves in this world. As I say, I've tried it for myself and I really enjoyed it. I stopped it a little bit too quickly, but I really needed the money. So let's see here. Let's see. Oops. Okay, so we can see the graph and we can see here how the money was growing. Year 1 and year 2, there's really very little change. Year 3, you can see that from year 2, total interest was about 11,300. Year 3, it becomes 38,000. Year 4 becomes 110,000. Year 5, nearly 300,000. Year 6, 700,000. And magic simply happens on year 7. But even the year 6, imagine if you had nearly £1 million, you know, you don't need to work anymore. I mean, this much money, you would be the happiest person in the world. And if you're working in a grocery store, but just simply making these little changes, these little smart moves every single day, over a longer period of time, it brings you to huge success, to huge gains. So, let's talk about how we can get 8% a month, right? 8% a month. Well, the only asset that I know that has shown these sort of gains over the last decade is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the best performing asset of last decade. In fact, if you don't believe me, I can show you some numbers, and this is purely historic data. So we've got a Bitcoin performance from 2011 to 2020. We can see that in 2011, year started with 30 cents. Bitcoin cost 30 cents, one Bitcoin, okay? Year end, it was $4.72. The change in that year was 1,473%. Year two of this chart, so 2012, it gained 186%. Year 2013, it gained 5,507%. On year 2014, it actually was down. It lost 56%. But what you can see here really is that in these last 10 years, well, from 2011 to 2020, there's only been 2 years where Bitcoin was down. But even if you were compounding your gains in Bitcoin and those 2 years were in between, you would be far ahead of yourself anyway. You would probably be a millionaire by the year 2013 just due to the percentages that it returned. We are talking in a compound interest calculator about 100% a year, but this is thousands and thousands of percents per year. So even by year 5, it would be interesting to see, to actually put these digits in the compound interest calculator and see if you were buying £6 worth of Bitcoin per day for these 4 years in between 2011 to 2014, you would be very, very, very rich, right? Okay, so, but if you've done it for the 10 years, you'd be mega rich by now, okay? So, the financial analysts are talking about Bitcoin being the best performing asset of the last decade, and they are expecting it to be the same in the next decade. I'm not saying that you need to jump in and actually take Bitcoin and start buying it and compounding on it. You know, you might actually think that, wait a second, you know, there are other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, Cardano, you know, that you believe have not had this massive growth and this massive run yet as the Bitcoin already has had. You know, but that is your choice. All I want to do is bring the compound interest to your attention. So in my opinion, everybody's parent, everybody's grandparent, everybody's mom and dad needs to know about compound interest, and they actually need to use it, because without action, there's going to be nothing. It's just numbers on the screen. But if you actually do something about it and you start that account next week, then by next year and by next 2 years, you will already have achieved some results. And I know it might be tempting at some point, let's say in 2 years time, to withdraw that money from your compounding account. But the first rule of compounding is to never touch your compounding profits or gains for unnecessarily. Okay, so just don't do that. I've done it. I've actually saved up over £20,000 in the last 2 years in my compounding account by literally putting £5 to £10 a day in Bitcoin and Ethereum. But unfortunately, I had to withdraw it a couple of months ago when I had to refurbish my house, and I just simply did it. But you know what? This actually showed me that it's doable, it's possible. This was the first time in my life where I've saved up such a large amount of money. I've never had. I was the crap person with saving. You know, I could never save up a tenner, and here I saved up £22,000. I was very, very happy. So now I know that I can do this. And yes, I failed on my first attempt of actually reaching 6 years, although I promised myself that I'm not going to withdraw a penny from there. I had to withdraw it. And maybe that's fine, because I put this money to a very good use. So actually, when I get this money back by selling the property, I will actually put it back into my compounding account, and I'm gonna carry on compounding day by day by day by day, because I know that by end of 5 or 6 years, the magic will happen, and it's going to bring huge success. So as we're coming to an end of this video, but I do have for you some very special and easy to use tools to start compounding straight away. Everyone can do this. Anyone can open this account. The account can be open even for the child. And imagine how great this would be for your child. Let's say they are 10 years old. By the time they are 18, they have a huge sum of money sitting in their account, you know, that they can start their life as they want to. Or maybe you want to change your life, and maybe you want to do something different. Start compounding as soon as possible, and it will bring you happiness, success, wealth, and and everything that you want, quicker than any other thing. I don't know anything in this world quicker, better, more reliable than compound interest. Like I say, guys, if you want to see and find out about the tools and applications and accounts that will allow you compounding, make sure you watch my next video, which is going to be released either tomorrow or day after tomorrow, and I'm going to show you the exact way, the exact tools that you need to use, which are, by the way, free of charge, to be able to start compounding your assets as soon as possible. So thank you very much for watching it until the end. It's been really nice to see you again, guys, and I will see you very soon in my next video of this series, where I will talk about the rest of the stuff, how to start compounding. So thank you very much, guys, and speak to you soon. Keep well, keep healthy, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye bye.